Hello everyone, Merxerain here, and I am punching a tree, as you do in Minecraft. But have you ever done this in real life? I recently did just the other day, except, I didn't punch it, I used a chainsaw. I'm doing some major outdoor renovations, we're sort of doing here in our village. And that included cutting down 5 separate trees. Now, they weren't giant trees. I mean, they were medium-sized trees, and they weren't near any buildings or anything like that, but it was a lot of work. And man, can I tell you how much I wish I had the magic Minecraft pockets? Look at this. I've got like a whole tree in my pocket, and I can just walk around with it. That's crazy. Have you ever cut down a tree, or are you doing any other like cool spring projects or anything like that? If so, let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear about it. I found this guy, like outside the wall over there. He was just like soloing mobs left and right. Tenzo Kung Jungun the better. He's got like a lot of life, and he probably does more damage, and I think he's got a lot of armor. I don't know how he spawned. I don't know if he has some sort of special spawning conditions, or if just every single iron golem has a chance to be cool, but he's cool. We'll keep him around. What are you doing in today's episode? Everyone's probably asking. Well, as you can see behind the lightning altar, I've cleared a new space, and this is going to become our new project space. What for? Well, I created a new board just for this project because it's a large one. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Wow. Let's see. The manual create factory building. So I want to make a building right here for manual processing. We're not going to create any dedicated crafts in there, but we're going to have all sorts of things set up so we can do other crafting. What does that include? Well, we're going to need to get mechanical crafters so we can make a crafting wall. Of course, it's going to need its own rotational power source. I don't know, should we do water wheels or should we do wind turbines or windmills or whatever they're actually called? I don't know. I know the windmill can provide higher power, but the water wheels, we could put them underground and not have something out in the open. Then we're going to make some grind wheels. We're going to make a wall or a section of the floor for grinding things. We're going to create a mixing station. We might make more than one mixer. We might have one that has might still be a no. We might have one that has our blaze underneath it, and then another one that's just normal. We're going to need a sequenced assembly station as well. That's a lot of stuff to do in one episode, so I don't know if we'll be able to get all the way through it. But why are we setting all of this up? Well, it's all needed for this over here. So we want to get to be able to make the cinder flour, which just needs the grind wheels. That's great. But then the coke bricks, and coke bricks are going to need... here are coke bricks. We need to make 27 of them. We're going to need clay and water and netherrack and all this stuff over here, so that we can make all of these different things, so that we can smelt the coke brick blend into the coke bricks, which then you can turn into coke brick. Why do we want coke brick? Well, we need to make a coke oven. The coke oven will let us make the coal coke. The coal coke will then eventually let us make the blast bricks. The blast furnace with the coal coke and iron will let us make steel. And steel is sort of our gate into future tech mods. So we're kind of looking to go down this path right here. Interestingly enough, the steel ingot is listed here after coke brick, and the blast brick is over here. So I think as soon as we get this this coke brick, we're gonna unlock the next like tier of tech as well. So we're gonna still be like going down here, but I think we're also gonna start into here. I'm not sure, we'll see how it works. Okay, so let's build our factory building. Oh wait, it's already built? Yeah, this is kind of what I was thinking for the factory building, and I've got some cool ideas I think that I played around with by giving it you know, it is sort of flat, but it doesn't look super flat because we have sections here that just use walls, framed walls. And then we've got some windows, and we have some bits kind of sticking out. One thing that's hard to see, in this section only, I used some different bricks. So these are granite arrayed bricks, and these are granite small bricks, but like the rest of everything else is just granite bricks. I'm kind of thinking, you can see it's like slightly lighter color and a little bit of a different pattern. I'm thinking of like making little sections like this and just kind of like interspersing it around. Just to give a little bit of texture variation that you may or may not be able to see, but I think it'll make it look better in the long run. Something else that's really neat that I found are these from Engineers Decor ceiling edge lights. So it says ceiling, but I kind of use them outside too. I think I'm actually going to space them around, maybe put one here and maybe here, kind of going along with the pillars, maybe even on the corners, because that I think will look cool and allow us to get rid of a bunch of torches. Next, we have a metal door, and this door cannot be right-clicked. However, I got a pressure plate here, and this pressure plate is configured to only allow players to activate it. So my villagers won't even be able to walk in, or enemies, or whatever. It's great. Let's walk in and take a look on the inside. So, I currently have this spot here not quite finished, because this is how we're going to get up here. I don't know if I'm going to put anything out here, but it's kind of the way to get to the roof and everything. This is just where we're at right now. My roof is got this layered weathered limestone surrounded by our bricks. And then we even have these little framed slab edges, again with the layered weathered limestone. So if we come back in, this will eventually go away, and I'm thinking of like a door here. Because what I want to do is I want to make a little bit of a staircase, probably a spiral staircase going up here, and then having a railing, well, not a railing, having these steel catwalks, and then actually they'll have a railing on them, and then they'll just kind of go around here and give us a little bit of a second floor that's still kind of open. Maybe there'll be something up there, I'm not quite sure, and that'll have the door on the outside. So, what is the plan? Well, we've got the building going. This section is left open because we're going to put our coal coke like oven here and our blast furnace over here. So, I don't know what that's going to exactly look like, but we'll fill the rest of this in once we have it. Step one, though, is going to be to make our crafters. So, we're going to go do that in just a moment, but the plan is to put them on this wall right here. Oh, another cool thing on the way back out, you can see that there is a door sensor. So it'll just detect me and then open. Pretty sweet. Alright, let's go make our mechanical crafters. Alright, so our work in the previous episode to make these polished wood planks is now coming in handy. Because we need these brass casings. So I'm going to go ahead and move those over there. And, you know, how many of these polished wood planks do we have? We have 90. That's great. But how much of the brass plates do we have? We have enough for one more. So let's go ahead and request one more here. Because we actually need 8 of these brass casings, but we'll take 12, right? Because we're going to use them for other things. Okay, mechanical crafter. Let's send this over here. And we need to make 21 of these. So let's see if we can request that many. 21 obtained. All right, and that was a quest, of course. Let's go ahead and turn that in. In fact, it's going to be down here, probably in the create section. Okay, so the quest is right here, and the other thing it wants us to make is a crafter slot cover. We're probably not going to be using these slot covers anytime soon, maybe ever, honestly. But it's just 3 brass nuggets, so we'll go ahead and make that quick to get the quest done. It'll give us an epic create loot box, and then the next, it'll open up the next quest, which we're going into very soon after. Okay, and we're just going to store that right away. Ooh, we got copper casings. I wonder what these are used for. Let's take a quick look. Oh, can be used to decorate fluid pipes. Okay. Oh, it won't react to neighboring blocks being added or removed. So this would actually let us create some form of automation where a pipe moves into position to deposit fluids or something, and then when it's done, moves back away and maybe gathers more liquid somewhere else and comes back. That's kind of neat. But for now, we're not dealing with liquids. Stored. Mechanical crafters. Let's go set these up. Let's just take a quick look at what we need to make these crushing wheels. Ah, look, here's the 4 more brass casings that we needed. We need a shaft as well, and then we need a whole bunch of these andesite alloys. So we will gather all of this momentarily, but the important thing to note is the pattern, right? There's a 3 block wide space here, 5 tall, and then a single wide, but 3 tall on each side here. So we just need to mimic that pattern right here. And we're gonna get rid of that. Right, and we said it was 5 tall, so I'm gonna need to break that torch too. That one got placed in the wrong spot. That's okay. We will we'll fix it later. So unfortunately, we do block a little bit of our fancy like wall, but that's only from the inside, so that should be okay. All right, we'll just kind of pop that out, and then I'm going to put it back in after using some scaffolding. Okay. We'll get some fancy lighting. I don't know if I like this. It's probably not going to stay, but we'll get some fancy lighting in here too. But for now, let's get that torch in, and maybe one over here too. Okay, so how does this thing work? Well, first off, we do need to power it with rotational power, which we don't have at the moment. So we're going to have to get that set up underground, I think. We're probably going to use a whole bunch of water wheels. But then the next thing to note is each one of these has like little arrows. You can see this is pointing up, and that one's pointing up. We need to actually set these to go in a certain direction, and we're going to have it all go off to the right. And I think probably right here. This will be our output chest. So we're going to put a chest here. Everything else is probably fine. Just move it straight up. Well, all the ones in the bottom. Everything on the top we're going to have to flip around. Okay, so what's going to happen when we put all the items in here, they will slowly move up to the end point, right? So whatever's here is going to go up and then all the way over. And then once they all make it here, they'll kind of spin a little bit, and then they'll turn into our crafted item, and then they'll be deposited in the chest here. If there wasn't a chest, it would just pop out, which is also acceptable. But in order to even craft anything, we need to get our power situated. Okay, so I've dug out a basement, and over here you can see sort of hidden, not really. There's a gray elevator block, so we just come over here, poof, down here. Will I decorate this and change the walls? I don't know. At the moment, we're just going to put the water wheels down here and run some shafts and whatnot up top for our different contraptions. So it's probably just going to be like a small axis sort of area. We might decorate it, we might not. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But let's go ahead and grab some of our things. We want these water wheels, and I made 4 because we're going to have a lot of machines running off of it. So let's go ahead and make sure that we've got as many as we want. And you know what? That's not quite... I think I want them to turn this way. I don't know why it's in my head, but it is. So we're just going to quickly pop out... right here. I think right there. No, right here. There we go. And then I think we will just use cobblestone to fill this out. The water is going to run down this one. We'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to want this back. And if you're wondering what this is the Create toolbox. So in here, you can, you know, store items. See how it remembers this? I actually don't want it to because we're not going to carry those very often, so I just click it again. But what's really neat is like, oh, I'm using the shafts. Click, click. Oh, okay, now I'm done using shafts. I'm actually going to remove those because I don't want those there. But, oh, man, okay, so now I come in here and I just say, oh, return all items back to the toolbox. So you put the items that you use a lot in here, and lets you carry them around in one inventory slot, and you can kind of manage them real quick and easy. Okay, we're just going to fill this out a little bit. So one thing you can do with a water wheel is if you put soul sand down, it'll create a water elevator, basically, right? It'll push the water up, and that will increase our overall speed. So I think we might give that a go. I don't have the soul sand on me right now, but I will grab some, and we'll give it a try. Okay, this should be sufficient. So if I put our water in, here we are. Oh, well, got to get rid of that torch. And I think we'll just stick it over here. So we can see that each one of these is individually generating 256 stress units, which is quite good. And we're going to want to run our shafts off of this here. And I'm thinking, right, we're going to run our shaft up through the floor right here. Right there. Just exactly like that. But, of course, we need to get it over there. So let's go ahead and grab these gearboxes. And we need to turn this into a vertical gearbox, okay? So what the vertical gearbox lets us do, when I put this down, is it's going to be able to route a shaft that comes in this way, right? The shaft's going to come in from this side, and then it's going to go up. So this vertical one can route it up or down from the side, or if it was coming in from the bottom, it can route it out the side. And in fact, we're going to have to use a few more over here. But let's go ahead and run these real quick. So right here, we are in line. I'm going to use a... Actually, I think we're going to need like 2 more of these. Let's go ahead and grab 2 more of these. I need one to go right there. We're going to put that there, and then we're going to need one on top. So I can probably just stick it right there. Perfect. And click, click. We are now connected. Now, this is the slowest speed that it can go. We can and will speed this up, but we could do the whole big gear to small gear, right? And create the ratio that way and speed it up. But there is one other way that you can speed things up that we might hold out for, and that is the rotation speed controller. This rotational speed controller uses a, brass casings, which we already know that we can make, shafts, which are easy to make, and then a precision mechanism. This precision mechanism comes from the sequenced assembly, and we're going to be setting a sequenced assembly up upstairs. So maybe we'll just hold out to be able to get that speed controller. So let's go back upstairs, and now we have this hole. Well, how are we going to connect this one cogwheel to this? Of course, we're going to use another gearbox, but it has to be the vertical gearbox. So I'm just going to stick it on right there, and we are now in operation. So this thing will run when it has a valid craft, or if it's a valid craft but there was an empty space, you could put those little blockers in that we made earlier that I didn't think I was going to use. Alternatively, you can click a button on the side and it will cause the craft. But this craft is missing one thing, and that thing that it's missing is a shaft. So once I put the shaft in, boom, it now knows a valid craft is here, and this is going to be our cogwheel. And remember, I said I was going to put a chest here. I don't have the chest on me. That's okay. What's going to happen is it's just going to pop out. This craft also makes 2 of these grind wheels, which is important because you do need 2 grind wheels to grind anything. There we are. Poof. A pair of giants. Let's go ahead and accept this quest because it is a legendary create loot box. So let's go ahead and store sort of the rest of our create things, and hopefully we get something really good out of it. That'd be awesome. What did we get? Chromatic Compound. Okay. I know how to make the Chromatic Compound. Well, at least I do before the expert pack. Let's go ahead and take a look. Right. So you drop these in the world near sources of light like torches, and it actually eats the torch. And then it turns into... It will turn it into refined radiance. So in order to actually make it, you have to mix it. You've got to mix polished rose quartz, monosteel ingots, infused sunmetal ingots, nocturnal powder, and illumination powder. And it has to be a superheated blaze, which means you need to feed it blaze cakes. So this is actually not something that we can craft right now. It's probably going to take us a little while to be able to craft one of these. So this might have been a good drop, but we only got one. Can we use one for anything? Right, so Chromatic Compound could transform into Shadow Steel, or you could turn it into Refined Radiance. Let's go ahead and see what Refined Radiance. Wand of Symmetry, but you need 2. Radiant Casings, but you need 2, right? Enchantment Focused Book. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of feels to me like you need at least 2 to do anything with. Or more, right? So, not a terrible drop, just not something that we can make use of right now. Let's go ahead and update our to-do board. This whole thing here is now done. We've made our building. We've gotten our rotational power source. You know, we can probably enhance it, but it's there. We also have our mechanical crafters. We've created our crafting wall, and we have created 2 grind wheels. Done. So what's next? These aren't necessarily in any particular order. We are going to need a mixing station, and we're going to need our grinding station. Not only that, but we're going to need a sequenced assembly. So, let's go ahead and get started on those things. I have set up the majority of our manual stations, and I tried to record it, but there was a lot of trial and error, and that would have been a full episode on its own, if not longer. So here's what I've got. Let's kind of walk through what's happening. We'll start in the basement. So down here, right, we have our power generation. This comes up, and it goes over, and this goes over to our crafter. I have added a gearbox here to split the shafts, so now it comes over this way as well. And we're only going to focus on, I mean, this is just a diverter to split it over to this section, but we're going to focus on starting here. This is where our crushing wheels are. The crushing wheels and the mixer are actually sort of on the same line. As you'll notice, there wasn't another divider. So this comes over, and we have, right here, our shafts coming up into a vertical gearbox. This vertical gearbox, we'll go ahead and remove that temporarily, connects onto a mechanical belt, which then moves everything this way. We have an andesite funnel. This andesite funnel will allow items to go in. So if I drop that right there, we can see it has entered that. And apparently cobblestone made it in there at some point as well. So from here, we have another vertical gearbox going up to another vertical gearbox on both sides. And that is what we connect our crushing wheels to. So let me go ahead and put this wheel back. Now, what's important for these wheels is they have to spin in opposite directions, right? So this one's going counterclockwise and this one's going clockwise. You need them to be spinning together, right? So that the outputs are going down. This is our input chest, and there's a chute here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to like drop in, I don't know, like 16 cobblestone, and let's just take a quick look and see what's supposed to happen, just so we can be sure that is what's happening. Cobblestone turns into gravel, and you can even see the rotation of the gears here if you're unsure which way they need to go. So let's go ahead and drop in our 16 cobblestone. We can see it instantly passed through the chute and has made its way into the crushing wheels. And once it's done, because it's probably processing the whole thing, like the whole stack of 16 at once, but once it's done, we should see it pop out here as gravel. There we are. So we saw the gravel, it hits the andesite funnel, and that sends it right into the chest. That works perfectly. So we'll be able to drop whatever things in here that we need to get crushed, and then they will. The crusher actually duplicates a lot of the same work that our pulverizer does back in our main base. We will continue to use the pulverizer for most things, and the crusher mainly for only things the crusher can do. So, from here, we have a shaft coming off this to provide more rotation energy over here. This is our mixer. You can kind of just barely see that we have our blaze burner underneath. He doesn't have like any heat right now, so he's kind of small. That's alright, we're just going to leave him as is. This system's kind of in the way, you can't really see anything, so we might try to redesign this at a later point, but for now, we'll just take a look. So this here, similar system. Input chest, shoot, onto the belt. The belt will take it to the funnel will take it into the basin. When the items are in here that we have that we need to mix, which I don't have any on me right now to mix, this will come down and mix up. We have some gearboxes here in order to transmit our energy over and then up and then over again so we get the other wheel. Basins actually are smart enough to have their own sort of output, so we don't have to have a funnel on the back of this. And then, of course, this is the destination chest. So those are on the same line. Now, in the basement, we saw that there was a line coming off, and that line coming off comes over here. We bring that up and connect it into this belt. This is our sequenced assembly. I've never used one of these before, and this is a very manual one. Let's take a quick look at our coke bricks. In order to make these coke bricks, right, we need to put in paper, and then we need to have coke bricks on 3 of the deployers, and then we need to have construction paste on the final one. And then it says here, you have to repeat the sequence 4 times. So, with our current setup, what we're going to do is we're going to stick the paper in here, and we're going to manually just place coke brick here, here, and then the construction paste here. Probably not in that order. We're going to set these up first, and then drop the item in here, and it will go along, and each one of these should use its item. Finally, it'll make it in over here. Since we have to do it 4 times, though, we'll manually pull the item out, and then move it back over here. There are ways we can, of course, make this automatic so we don't have to manually intervene and move stuff around. But this is a first sort of setup. And you can see I don't even have the deployers hooked up to any sort of rotational power just yet. But that shouldn't be too hard to do since we have this vertical gearbox. If we just route it up to about here, we can probably get some power over. Let us now power our deployers. So, what we could do, right, is we could try to connect gears onto each one of these sides, and that might look kind of neat and everything. But I think we might have a slightly better option. If we just kind of like get up here with our wrench, we can rotate these. Now, this is on the outsides, but when I rotate them, we're going to see that they're now all going to connect. So they're going to run, this shaft should run straight through the whole system. Now we just need to get this to go up there. So I'm thinking if we put a shaft on there and then a vertical gearbox can go on top of it. Actually, let's go ahead and set the normal gearbox here first, because then I can just click right there. Aha! We have it. Our deployers are now powered. One more thing to call out for this whole system. Now, all of these are running right now, right? We've got, you can see there's 64 stress units on each one of these. We could do the math and find out how much stress units we're using exactly. This one's using 64 as well. I think each one of these wheels uses 128. You will notice, if I come over here, this is not in operation right now. So this is turning. However, there's nothing on the back here. What we had here was a cogwheel. And when I put that in place, we are overstressed. So there is too much energy trying to be used here, and we don't generate enough stress units. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a clutch. I think we might actually want 2 of these. We can then make it so we can turn on one side and turn the other side off or something like that. We now have our clutch. Probably going to want to put our clutch around this area, and I'm actually thinking, wouldn't it be great if one switch would somehow control both of them? Yeah, I think so too. So let's go ahead and remove those, and we'll put the clutches on each one of these, and that should overstress it again. Now then, How can we potentially flip back and forth? I'm thinking what we'll do is we will have a redstone link right there, and we'll have a lever on the surface that's going to tell us what's going to happen. We're going to give this a frequency of a shaft. Okay, you can just barely see it. It's a little dark. Let me go ahead and throw one of these down. So this should power this guy right now. But we're also going to want a... Oh, not that one. Let me get that back real quick. We're going to want to set this to invert. Now we can see that this side is running, but this side is not because we have turned it off, right? So let's go ahead and grab our red pen that we can connect these together. And let's go ahead and set this up upstairs. This is now our main control switch, right? So where do we want to put the lever that's going to main control this? This kind of feels like a nice central location here. It is a little bit further away from our mechanical crafters, but I think it's going to work out. We're going to go ahead and set that right there, and we'll set up our redstone link right here and give it the shaft frequency. And now, when I flip this, we should see this stop turning, and we should see all of this come into life. Oh no, it didn't work. Let's go figure out why. Oh, I know why immediately. We didn't set the bottom one to be a receiver. Let's go back down there and do that real quick. This is a step that's very easy to forget, but you see there is a little antenna sticking off of here. We have to shift right click, I think. Nope, not shift right click. There we go. You have to just right click on here, and then it gets like the little satellite dish icon. And when it gets that, it will now be receiving our signal that we send from up here. So let's try this one more time. Look at that. Everything flipped around. If I do it again, we can see that these are turning on the crafters. Perfect. So now we can switch back and forth quite simply. We've really done a lot of work today, haven't we? I mean, we set up a whole brand new factory building. We set up all of these manual crafting stations. I mean, manual to start. We'll eventually get into all the good, juicy automation, but we just need to be able to craft some items. So now that we have all these in operation, we will be able to use them in the next episode. I really hope you're enjoying the journey we're taking here, and I hope to see you in the next one when we craft our coke bricks. Merc Serene, signing off.